Hey, what's up, everybody? Evan Brown here again with another video. I wanted to make a video talking about mental health and the effects that this entire journey, the entire pineal cyst journey, has on your mental health. It's a lot. It's a lot to dive into, and today's been a pretty heavy day. And I'm even like 3 years post the surgery, and I think physically speaking, I've recovered on all fronts through a plethora of modalities that I need to make a video about. I promise I will make a video about. Mark my words, I will make a video about the modalities that have gotten me like back, I would say 97%, if not higher, than what I was or where I was before the surgery happened, before the madness even occurred. But my mental health, I think, is the missing piece to the puzzle. And it's not that I struggle with like anxiety or depression. It's the intrusive thoughts. It's the reoccurring just visions in my mind. It's the fear of fucking doctor's offices. It's the fear of any symptom I have. Could it be another brain tumor? It's this constant anxiety. It's not really anxiety. It's like this dread. It's like the joy out of life has been sucked out of it, which is crazy because following such a traumatic event, such as following what should have and could have killed me, you think I'd be super stoked for life. And it's weird because I am super stoked. But I'm very appreciative of life. But I do feel like life's just a little less vivid. It's just not as magical as it was before. Like I'm just not the same person. And it's not because my brain's changed or because my pineal gland housed my soul and I'm now soulless or any other weird thing that you can think of as to why I might be different. The reality of it is I really do think that it's just solely because of the traumatic experience I went through. And my experience was vastly different than like many. I would say probably it's probably different than everyone else's who has gone through this experience. And it's not like the leading up to the surgery or anything like that was different. It was what happened after the surgery. It was hitting in my head in the bathroom. It was hallucinating in the lobby. It was crying and begging for help, and no one came. And the months that followed where symptoms were actually worse than what they were before surgery. And through fucking myself and a lot of research, found out what was wrong with me. Found out my hormones were fucked up. Found out I had sleep apnea. And I sleep with a scuba mask, not a scuba mask, but a CPAP machine. But I call it a scuba mask because it's way more fun to say than I wear whatever the fuck it's called, a CPAP mask. And hormone replacement therapy. I found those. Doctors were just telling me I was fucked up. I was fine. There was nothing wrong with me. Not once did they bring up my mental health, and maybe that was the missing piece of the puzzle. And, I look back on that decision of not pursuing that a little bit more, and I kind of wonder, like, what if? Like, what if all my symptoms were derived, not all my symptoms, but all my symptoms following the pinealectomy were derived. I think sleep apnea is non-negotiable like that. Definitely contributed to the symptoms. But outside of sleep apnea, I wonder if all my symptoms were just derived from untreated sleep apnea and fucking PTSD from literally the peak of my life, being a multi-engine commercial pilot, to I have a brain tumor, I feel like shit, no worries, how do we climb the hill? How do we fight the fight? What do we need to do? Who do we need to talk to? What do we need to do? I don't care how scary it is, I will run headfirst into adversity and I'll deal with the consequences. But this quality of life cannot be my forever. And there's a level of regret with the approach I had with the surgery. Like I ran like a fucking bat out of hell straight to the knife because I was like, I just need to get my life back at whatever the fucking cost. It doesn't matter. And I look back at that decision and I wonder what could have been if I would have chilled out a little bit and maybe just taken it a little slower instead of having a knee-jerk reaction, like cut this thing out of my fucking head. So I do think there's definitely a level of psychological suffering that has stayed with me for the 3 years following after the surgery. And I'm 29. I was 25 when I had the surgery. And it's like, I can't keep living like this. Like, I'm not going to go into my 30s with this drama, with this baggage, with whatever this is. Even if I'm still 3% symptomatic, because I would say I'm like operating at like 97%, 98% of what I was before. Like I feel really fucking good. But I do think there are some cognitive deficits that are caused by PTSD. I've done extensive cognitive exams. I come above average in all metrics. So don't worry about my brain. Your brain's also going to be fine if you have the surgery. Don't worry about it. Neurosurgeons are gods amongst men and women. They are amazing at what they do. And if you go to one who knows his shit, you'll be completely fine. But don't be like me. Don't underestimate the power of your mental health and how important it is once you go through this process to seek out a good therapist. And for me, I've tried talk therapy. Talk therapy just doesn't do shit for me. Like, it's great. Like, I feel consoled in the moment, but like when I go home, like it's essentially equivalent to having a beer with a friend and talking about it. And like, that's great, but that's not healing. That's not progression towards a better life. That's just venting. And venting and healing are two different things. So I'm going to try something called EMDR. I think it's called eye movement desensitization reprocessing or something along those lines. Unfortunately, here in Portland, there's two issues. One, they're really hard to find, and two, the ones that you can find are super booked up, so it makes it almost impossible to get in. So today I'm going to sit down in my wonderful office that you can see. Super, super exciting in here. Sit down and go through and literally find all the practitioners in Portland, write their names down, contact information, print that shit out, call him, no, call her, no, and just go down the list and find somebody, because I really do think that's the missing piece of the puzzle. I mean, all the cognitive issues I have now are super subjective. No one outside of myself can really tell them. Maybe you can. I have no idea if you can. Then sweet, don't tell me. No, I'm kidding. But they're super subjective, and it seems like I do think that once my psychiatric issues, if you will, I mean, PTSD is a psychiatric issue. Let's call it what it is. Once that issue is resolved, and I can fully be present and fully be in the moment, and not so caught up with the shoulda, coulda, woulda thoughts, and not just try to push the images of me hallucinating in the lobby away, just not have them appear at all. I think it would free up so much cognitive bandwidth. I think it would do wonders for me. And I'm excited to see what that does. So I hope you are prioritizing your mental health. I hope you are taking care of yourself. And I hope you do not have a knee-jerk reaction and run into surgery. I do think surgery is warranted in the multitude of cases. I mean, there's so much data out there that really supports that a pinealectomy, which is the pineal gland cyst resection. Sounds a lot scarier when you say pinealectomy than a pineal cyst removal. That's what it is. Didn't know what the fuck it was called until after I had the surgery. So it was kind of challenging to really uncover good articles. But check out Google Scholar, check out PubMed, pinealectomy in humans, pinealectomy in rats, pros and cons of different approaches. There's a shitload of approaches. I'll go over them later. I'll buy got a whiteboard over there. Maybe I'll move it over here and draw a picture for you guys and we can talk about the different approaches. I'm no doctor. I'm no neurosurgeon. I'm just a guy who had a brain tumor who wants your experience and your journey to be a little bit easier than mine. That's all I want out of this. Anyhow, I hope you guys gained value from this. I've personally gained value out of sharing my story, and I look forward to keeping you all updated through my EMDR journey. And I really do believe that through community, through determination, we can regain our best lives. All right, guys, until next time, take care.